Hey, everybody, it's Paul and Seth. On this episode of Learn From Us podcast, you're going to learn what it takes to be a good investor. We're going to get Paul's thoughts on the economy during this crazy time and how to plow through and be awesome. And we talk about who is the true GOAT, LeBron or MJ, on the Learn From Us podcast with Paul and Seth. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Learn From Us podcast with Seth and Paul. Paul, how are you, my dear friend?
I am wonderful. How are you, my dear?
All my friends are dear, but you hold a special place in my heart. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's so funny, that one, Seth.
Boy,
adorable.
We were in the car, and I called you, and I said, what in Lord's name is going on in the world today? And we started talking, and then we said, you know what? Zip it. This is a podcast. Let's start. So that's why we started the show. If it's the first time you've ever seen this show, Paul is an entrepreneur of sorts. Paul, how would you describe yourself to a new, fresh watcher on YouTube?
I don't know.
Come on, do it.
I don't know. I'm an investor. I invest in shit, including new businesses, current businesses, real estate, stocks. Like my background says.
Not stocks.
Not stocks.
Weekly, we talk about business building. We talk about finances. We talk about stocks and growing businesses. And of course, we're in a very trying time with the COVID virus. And we're trying to figure out what the hell to do. Paul, I usually check in with you about every 2 or 3 days to figure out what the hell is going on in the world and get your take on the world.
All I know is you've been playing a lot of Settlers of Catan lately.
Now, I do play a lot of Settlers of Catan with my family. I guess some people say Catan. But I have a 9-year-old, now 10-year-old, who is getting pretty good at this, Paul. He wins, like, a lot. So he's got a big head, and we play a lot of family board games. So we should get you playing. I know you're into board games.
Yeah, not really.
What are your thoughts generally of what the hell is going on in the world?
Generally. Well,
start with the economy.
So I heard last week somebody had said that unofficial numbers were about 15% unemployment. And that's with, we still have 2 more weeks in the month to have unemployment claims come in. They come in Thursday mornings at 8:30, the official number. So I wouldn't be shocked if at the end of April, we end up May reports of 20% unemployment. If that's the case, it's a lot of people, Seth. And everybody keeps talking about this quick V-shaped recovery. You know what I mean by V-shaped, right?
No, tell me about it.
Quick recovery like that, V-shaped, as opposed to like a U-shaped, like long one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how that happens because you have to get a lot of people getting back to work, spending money after a big shutdown. That doesn't happen overnight when you have businesses that are going to fail. Like you said, 150,000 restaurants are expected to shut their doors completely forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen overnight. What was that? Yeah, Lisa's talking here in the background.
Mic her up, baby. She's ready to go. Paul, you've been telling me, I think one of the things that's been obviously surprising, but maybe not surprising, is I'm sure you're following the protests in every state that are now a daily occurrence outside of State House. What do you think of this? What do you think of these people? And
that's a good question.
Go ahead, Paul.
I think people just want to protest to protest. With that said, I don't know if I personally agree with a government shutdown. My views are very extreme and controversial. I just wrote an article today on LinkedIn and on my website at Data where I argued as to why we do need businesses to fail. It's okay. It's part of capitalism. And for business owners to want to make as much money as possible, you got to let them fail. Because you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't take all your risk and not pay for it. And it kind of seems like these bailouts are doing exactly that. So I don't blame people for getting pissed off and protesting major corporations and these bailouts and all that stuff. I don't believe the money should have gone to businesses. I think they should have gone to individuals and said, hey, you're going to lose your job. Okay, we're going to take care of you, not the business. Because that to me is better than the other way around. People are complaining just to complain. That's what they do. Oliver, you got to move. People are complaining just to complain. That's what they do. I don't believe in the government coming in and saying, shut this thing down. I do think it was exaggerated. Yes, we have a lot of deaths. I think we have 44,000 deaths in this country right now. That's insane. It's a lot. And the scary part about this is how quickly it spreads. But let's not protest just to be annoying. You know, I'm starting to, Seth, you know how much I hate it when people say that person shouldn't make a lot of money or that company shouldn't make a lot of money. But I completely understand when I see a bailout happening of those exact same people, why they would get pissed. But that didn't happen first. That happened second. We do need a lot of people to fail. Then people will say to me, well, Paul, what about the people who lost their jobs? That's why I sit there and say, so if you want to bail somebody out, bail out the people who are the average Americans. At the same time, hey, average America, don't complain when somebody makes more money than you. It doesn't mean you're going to be poorer because somebody else makes more money. Just because somebody's a billionaire doesn't make your life worse. Shut up about that. You sound like a brat. You sound entitled. But it is completely reasonable to say, why are we bailing out billionaires? Agreed. Why are we bailing out multimillionaires? 1,000% agreed. I 100% do not disagree with that. I never thought I'd ever say that. 20 years ago, I would have said, I actually believed in corporate welfare 20 years ago. Completely hypocritically. And I started to realize about my junior year of college, I'm like, you know, how can I believe in it? Because my argument was, well, it saves jobs. Okay. But those jobs aren't going to be gone forever. So when I hear people protesting about government shutdown, go do something else. Like, really, this is what you're protesting? Go do something else. It's just annoying. When people protest about billionaires having a lot of money, go do something else. But billionaires don't ask for bailouts when you also tell people they shouldn't be complaining about you making a lot of money. No, it's exactly what should happen. If you want to bail out, you should lose money. Somebody on CNBC, I was watching it live when he said this, and he got a lot of play. He said hedge funds and billionaires should be wiped out. He's 100% correct. That's capitalism. We need people to be wiped out. We need the ancillary business people and the not good business people to be wiped out. We need the crappy businesses to be wiped out. And that takes apart a billionaire who just has to go raise money again to become worth $100 million. So be it. I don't mean it from oh, poor guy, let's tax him more because he's going to have a lot of, no, I don't mean that. I mean, let him go make his killing, his or her killing. Let them go make their killing while they can. Don't interfere with that. But when they're going to have losses, don't help them.
Yeah, it's amazing the party lines that are being drawn, the way people, 3 weeks ago we were talking about how a lot of this looked a lot like what Bernie Sanders was saying, like.
No, it wasn't at all like he was saying, though.
Well, the idea of sending money out to people.
In an emergency situation versus Bernie wants that as a way of life. It's a totally different situation.
Totally different.
Yeah. Because listen, I love Bernie because he proves everything I've said about the left. The biggest hypocrite doesn't live his life that way at all, but he wants everybody else to pay for the life he wants everybody else to live. Not him, but everybody else. But not getting into politics about it. It's just he's allowed to go make his money. Let everybody go make their money. Don't complain about it, but don't complain when you can't make any when you're suffering.
I see the same people in good times, maybe more on the right, who are against
of course,
welfare, social.
Oh yeah, and then they're all fine with this. Oh, complete hypocrisy.
They are the first in line to get all their money.
Well, somebody the other day posted on Facebook about Donald Trump. And I just wrote, "Do you like him?" Being funny. She goes, "Paul." She laughed because she knows I'm being funny. She goes, "Paul, I can see viewpoints of conservatives." I want to write back, wait, we're talking about Donald Trump, we're not talking about conservatives. My comment was like, nobody in politics is a Republican can actually say they believe in these Republican values and they're doing what they're doing. You know what I mean? But then, if they don't vote for a stimulus package like Rand Paul didn't, because his comment was, I shouldn't get the money. Why are you giving me? I'm voting this down because I should not get, people like me should not get any money. Then he's criticized. You know what I mean? It's just like, damn if you do, damn you don't. But yeah, you're right. The Republicans who are against welfare, but they're all in favor of their corporate welfare buddies getting their corporate buddies all getting bailed out. It's like, got it.
We were talking about you've called me a recovering liberal in the past, and I think I've thought to myself, we talked about this on a couple shows ago, is I feel like my liberal friends, they think that all of this money for everything that they want is there. The government's just not giving it to the right people. But now and we've had discussions on the podcast that how many people in this country think that these bailouts that they're giving out, that money is just sitting in DC?
Oh, that's a good question.
Waiting to be used up.
Yeah, that's not the case. That's
even now my Republican friends are saying, well, I mean, why don't I just I don't understand, just start cutting checks. I mean,
well, that's the whole idea behind what's called MMT, modern monetary theory. The thought is just print whatever you can. Well, that's the case, and it won't have any effects. If that's the case, why have taxes? Why not just bail out businesses? This is not a political thing. This is just a economic thing where we're talking about it's okay to have failures. We need failures to become better. We need these, and every successful person in the world will talk about that. Every person we've interviewed who's successful, they don't, I mean, remember Hesh? Hesh was just like, the guy was $2 million in debt. He went from $600,000 in cash, $500,000 house almost paid off, and like some big retirement account to in 18 months, he was $2 million in debt. And that's a $3.5 million swing.
Paul's talking about Hesh Sagafi. It's a podcast we did probably last December. One of our most
popular one.
Yeah, one that we've ever done. So look back on our old feed, Hesh Sagafi.
And Hesh is spelled Khash.
Yeah, but you're right, Paul. I mean, it's just a really, really strange time. I was talking to our buddy Andrew, who works with you, and he was talking about the amount of deaths that are going to occur from this versus the amount of money the economy is going to lose. At what point do we say that, I think, what did he say the numbers are at 40,000 deaths versus a few $1 trillion in losses? We're almost spending $50 million.
Yeah, that's right. I told you that in the last podcast.
Is that what we went over?
Yeah, you were like, what? I was like, yeah, do the math. 2 trillion divided by 40,000 people, call it 500,000 people. It's still $4 million a person.
So do these yahoos who are protesting downtown with their Trump flags, and are you surprised when these folks can walk around with like these AK-47, these like AR-15 rifles strapped to their chest downtown Columbus? Have you seen this?
I've not, but there's a constitutional amendment, and I'm all in favor of changing that. Listen, I'm all in favor of changing that constitutional amendment, but the second you do that, you open your gates up to every other constitutional amendment being changed. You got to take some with the law. It's just that's the way it is. But it is ridiculous to me to walk around town. Clearly, we don't need an AK-47 to keep the peace. You know what I mean?
But I guess my point is, do these folks have a point? I'm calling them wahoos, but I'm like, at what point does someone say, their point, which you see in some of these interviews, is this is just killing our town. I mean, these mandates from these governors are just killing us. Trump watches Fox News and then regurgitates, what's the line? We don't want the solution to be worse than the problem. I mean, what do you take on all this? Do they have a point? I mean, at what point? Can we even know? I'm just confused, man.
Seth, at some point.
You're thinking a lot about this
sentence. Well, I'm thinking because I want to put it eloquently where somebody doesn't pull a video up for me 10 years from now and goes, you said people's lives are worth X. If you don't think for a second that every politician looks at people's lives as worth X, Y, and Z, you're out of your mind. It's 100% what they do. They have to, unfortunately. And sometimes the hard decision has to be made that way. As an example, if we need to go stop terrorism, if stopping 9/11 would have killed 2 janitors in a school, would you have done that?
It's a weird way to think about it, but yeah.
But you have to think about it as somebody who's thinking about running the world, and if Bill Clinton had the opportunity to go kill bin Laden, and he maybe said no, he's like, listen, I don't want to kill a janitor. I don't want to kill I don't want to have casual, what's it called?
Civilian casualties?
Then you might sit there and say, well, then we're going to have, at some point, they got to be like, well, doing this will save 1,000 times more lives. At some point, it's a number. And I jokingly said to a friend of mine, oh, jeez, I don't even know how I want to say it. Here's what I'll say. If I were 85, 90 years old and I was in frail health and my family was like, listen, it's $40 million or I'm going to die a couple years beforehand, what decision am I making for my family?
I mean,
edit that out.
I just.
By the way, I'm not here to take anybody's life. The good news is I feel like we could have had the best of both worlds. The people who needed to be cautious just needed to stay extra cautious. Did we need a government shutdown for that? I don't know. Because would we have more deaths now if we didn't have the shutdown? I can assure you we would have. But I'd also tell you, like, if you have Lisa has a sister with leukemia. When we went to see her, we didn't step close to her. We stayed 10 feet away from her, and we still got yelled at by the family, which is understandable, and we're not going there anymore for that reason. We don't want to take the risk. We didn't give her anything. We didn't take anything to her. We didn't hand anything to her. No. We touched the dogs, and they went and cleaned the dogs. That's it. But we need to be more careful, and that's what we did. And in fact, we regret going over there because of that reason, because it freaked everybody out.
Yeah.
It's about being more – people are making this binary. Either people are going to die or people are not going to die. Well, it's not that simple. It's not going to be 0 or 1 million. It's going to be somewhere in between. And our job is to figure out how do we allow for the most people to live their life and not take away. And then my argument back was also – how many people are going to die because of unemployment being higher, because the economy being worse, and because listen, I hate to say it, I guarantee you there'll be extra suicides now because it's a sad thing to say, but people are going to lose a lot of money in their businesses and their lives and go broke. And if you don't think that causes suicide, you're out of your mind. Emotionally, there's evidence that emotions cause health issues, and how much money is that? It's just like, I wish it was just this binary black and white of this people are going to die or it's going to be 0. It's like, it's not that way. It's just we have to figure out the right way. What's the right way, Seth? I wish I had the answer. I don't have the answer, and you don't either. And fortunately and unfortunately, we have a few people making decisions, and we're going to live and die by those decisions. Literally going to live and die by those decisions. But to say it's just one domino, there's 30 dominoes around the room. You have to sit there. When you hit one, it affects so many other things, some positively, some negatively. We just don't know which ones are which.
You know, I have gone out to get some groceries, which I've been noticing that people are getting a little more serious. I was shocked 2 weeks ago when I still saw hugging and handshakes, and like really shocked. And I just got back from a small grocery store, and I was like one of the only people out of 10 people, 3 workers and 7 people who didn't have a mask on. I don't know why I didn't. I actually don't even own any. I haven't ordered them on Amazon.
Selfish.
Yeah, I'm terrible. But
why don't you just take your beard and go like this?
I know, just flip it up like this. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But I mean, I guess the point is when I walked into the butcher shop today, I didn't think I was getting the virus.
Oh, the one in Cleveland, Maslin?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think I was getting the virus just an hour ago, but that would be the exact way to get it.
Yeah.
So maybe I did just get I mean, are you thinking this way? Are these people who are – I'm trying to read some of the news bits that I'm seeing. Like, some of these people think that God and Jesus will help them. And other people just think it's complete this is a falsehood. I mean, do you think this? Do you think when you go visit someone at a hospital, this is how if you wanted to go get it, that would be how you would get it? I mean, are you thinking that way, or you think there's no chance you're going to get it?
I don't think there's no chance I'm going to get it. I just think that based on my health currently, that if I get it, I'm going to be fine. Mm-hmm. I don't want to make other people sick. That definitely is not something I want to do. I'm not worried about me at all. And, you know, Lisa's always telling me, well, Paul, what about other people? I got that. But if you are around someone who's high risk or you are high risk, you need to be a lot more careful.
I heard an article on the radio that Georgia, in comparison to Ohio, has, I think, twice as many. Maybe you can look up I was going to say, I thought you were going to get on the computer, but you're going for crackers. Georgia has twice as many people who got the disease and twice as many deaths. Yet I guess the governor came out without consulting mayors of large cities and came out and said by next week he wants everything back opened up.
You know why?
Go on.
He wants his money.
Yeah?
Why do you think that, the full funny part was all of a sudden they're opening liquor stores. Marijuana joints haven't ended. Why is that?
Well, yeah, a ton of money in that.
That is the tragedy to me in sense of like People aren't people aren't seeing the selfishness of our government. That's all it is where's the money? Oh, all of a sudden this is available. Oh, why is alcohol essential? Explain that to me. Why is weed essential?
And again, I've been seeing there's a stay-at-home order here in Ohio, and it just, when I go out to the grocery, it doesn't look much different than a normal day. And then, so for example, my kids needed their bike fixed, so I went to the bike store, and then I go down the street to a different, I think even more well-known bike store, and they're closed. So people are making decisions kind of whether they adhere to some of these loose rules or not. It's kind of weird.
Our tennis club is closed, which I think is bullshit. It's tennis. We're 80 feet apart. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's just those interactions. I mean,
we're handing balls to each other, Lisa said.
Yeah, giggity. So I guess the point is, the reason I consult with you is because I have, I moved a lot of my finances to cash. I have a lot of money to invest. It seems like we've fallen upon a really nice time to invest in some companies. Talk to the folks about what you're doing on the back end with your stock list, and when can we release some of this information to our followers?
Well, the stock list is just 77 stocks long. You see stocks are up a ton since the low. Let's see, where's it at? I think it's down a lot today, though. I think we're down like 3% today. We finished down 3% today. I mean, we're at 27.36. I think we got a lot longer to go. I mean, we were at 20. The low intraday was like 21.80, and the low closing was like 22 something. I don't remember. High 22s. We have a long way to go. I'm not buying any stocks right now. I bought a little USO yesterday because I do think in long term, it's the closest thing I can get to buying stocks. But I don't know if that's exactly. It's just a confusing play.
Oil, the U.S. oil stock.
Yeah, so we'll see. Everybody's got to be patient.
I'm not, Paul. I'm not patient. When is this going to?
Listen, I'm not patient either. But for some reason, in investing, I tend to be patient. But when that microwave down to 2 seconds, I'm opening the microwave door. You know what I mean? The thing about investing is it's very, very, very easy to understand the concepts. It's very, very, very difficult to implement and follow it to the T and adhere to the rules of investing. Investing isn't in the idea. It's like I always tell people, great. I have people tell me like, oh, I gave you that idea. I'm like, first off, you never gave me an idea. And secondly, even if you gave me the idea, great, it's an idea. It's useless. Just like investing, knowing the strategy is useless. If you can't implement, it doesn't matter. So being patient right now is the big thing. And I think people think we've had 10 years of, oh, market goes down a little bit, you buy, it goes back up again, you make a lot of money. We need to weed that out. That needs to be weeded out. We don't have that yet. We need to weed all that out. And it sucks because people are going to lose a lot of money. So then people look at me and go, you want people to lose a lot of money? It's not that I want people to lose a lot of money. I just see the cycles and how they have to play out in order for us to make a lot more money in the future. The late 60s, 66 to 82 was a terrible time in stocks. Terrible time for our economy. And guess what? 82 to 2000 was incredible for everyone in this country, stocks and economic-wise. Everybody got richer. And if anybody tries to argue that, oh, no, everybody got richer. That's just the way it works. We end up having good times.
Paul, if what's been going on keeps playing out, the death rate seems to be maybe settling down. Us talking about opening up. Why would the market go down again? What is going to cause what you think a drop in the S&P to go down sub 1,500 when we're now back up to 2,700?
Let me ask you this question. Did we ever see what was going to take stocks from 33.83 down to 21.80 2 months ago?
Yeah, we did. We talked about it. The virus, the start of the virus, the fear.
But before it crashed, did we think that was going to be the reason why it crashed?
No.
Call it December then. In December, did we see this?
No, not at all.
Maybe people saw coronavirus, but we didn't think it was going to be the issue we have here today.
Well, the president didn't through mid-March. So, I guess it got – but still, I was – what? I mean, yeah, you're like, oh, we didn't see this. Well, like, yeah, we're still holding rallies like March 20th.
Are you the PhD in chemistry? Or shouldn't you be the one seeing it, Big Shot?
I mean, not in infectious diseases, but
I'm sorry. It's PhD by biology. You're not smart enough for the PhD in biology. Is that what you're telling me?
Pretty much. I mean, like, look, I've been saying this every week. The sun is out. The market is up. The death toll is slowing, I think.
We don't need an event. 2000, the tech crash happened without an event. The tech market had peaked for a year and 8 months before 9/11 happened. It was already down 35-40% before 9/11. Everybody's like, well, what about 9/11? I'm like, it was down 35. Go look at the numbers. We don't know what it's going to be. But I've always said before, it will be something. We probably don't see what it is. I still don't know what's going to happen when we get real unemployment numbers and GDP numbers and realize all the shutdowns are going to happen and how many businesses go under and defaulting on corporate debt. That's the big thing that's going to happen.
When is the hammer going to fall on all this?
It'll start happening. All of a sudden, a couple companies will start having problems. Neiman Marcus went bankrupt already. Neiman Marcus. How long has Neiman Marcus been around?
I don't know who that is.
Forever. I know. They're probably like 1800s, right, Lise? The shopper over here would know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it would be, but it'll be something. Just like what caused stocks to go back up suddenly from 2180.
You're right.
Hell, we had the worst unemployment numbers ever come out, and stocks went up. We have oil went to negative numbers yesterday. Stocks went up. What?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Short run, I don't know, but all I know is long run, when value is this high, something will cause everybody to start complaining and caring, and whatever it is.
I mean, you've been saying for so many years now that this is going to happen and you're going to get your money ready. And I'm just wondering, when do we strike here?
Well, I've told you 1,000 times, don't invest the way I do. Right?
Well, I was happy I did. I mean, I was happy I pulled the money.
Amazon.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. What is Amazon?
Want to talk about Amazon?
I'd rather not.
Amazon's up $6 after hours. It was down 65 to 23.28 today.
I sold at 17, as you know.
You're welcome.
So, yeah. Well, it was only 100. It was only 100 and some odd shares. Yeah, that's right. Well, who cares? Well, all right, Paul. This is a good update. Patience is the key, you think?
Yeah. Everything about investing is patience. If you don't have patience, if you don't have discipline, just stick to your ETFs, stick to your low-cost index funds, dollar cost average, because it takes. Listen, I bought USO yesterday, and I like understanding how I make real. It's so funny with real estate. I never even worry. Like never does it enter my brain like did I pay too much? Because I know my fundamental processes. I don't care what the market says my property is worth. I know my property is worth.
Yeah, you've said that.
Doesn't matter to me. It is harder in stocks because you see that ticker every day telling you how much you're right or wrong. You see that every single day.
Yep.
It's harder. It's human nature. I don't know how to explain it other than I fall for the same thing, guys. It's not just me. Every single time I see a stock I want go down, I'm just like, am I wrong? Am I wrong? But if I bought that business in full, would I care? No, I'd be like, well, because there's nothing telling me every day what that business is worth, right?
Yeah.
That's the difference. It's funny. When I did Dynasty Order the first time around, I was reading articles on gaming, and it was saying, I made this analogy after I read the car one. When you drive down the street and it has that police sign that says you're going 47 miles per hour, the exact what you're going because it's a radar. That's the most effective way to get people to slow down. Why is that?
Instant feedback about the breaking the law?
Instant feedback. And that's exactly why that's why we get so euphoric when stocks are up and so sad and upset when stocks are down. It's instant feedback.
The kind of feedback you're not going to get on a long play like a real estate, duplex. And
you go to your neighbors, how much your house worth? I don't know, 550, 475. I don't know.
Right.
But in stocks, how much is that stock worth? Oh, $47. But is it worth $47? Yeah, that's what it says right there. But is it worth $47? That's the price. Is that what it's worth? What's the difference? And there we go.
And seen.
And seen. That's the point about all that makes investing tough and makes these times very difficult. You know, my friends in a group chat now are like, what the hell? How are stocks up this much? I'm like, guys, as I've told you and you're teasing me before about it, this is what happens when times are euphoric. And nothing's going to make sense when people get to high emotional extremes. Nothing makes sense. If God forbid you lost a close family member to you, nothing's going to make sense in the immediate aftermath of that. It's going to take a while. And things will get less cloudy. And then after stocks fall, if you go back to 2009, how many people look at 2009 now and go, man, such an obvious time to buy? Well, yeah, now it is. But what about back then?
Yeah.
I only know one genius in the world who can prove that he was buying in 2009. Only one.
Who is that? You only know one guy?
Yeah. I have the emails. I've asked every single person who said they're buying, show me. Never gotten proof. I have the emails. I have the buy orders. I have everything. I have my lawyers telling me, wow, you're the only one I know buying. Great. I have the emails. I have proof. And I encourage anybody. I once had a guy who goes on CNBC tell me he sold everything, but he sold 86% of his stocks. I was like, oh, I'd love to see that. It's like, oh, I can get that for you. Never heard from him again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it going, listen, it's hard. It's hard to fight what is in front of your face every single day. But that's what makes for good investing. You sit there and say, this is what I bought based on. I'm going to diversify, buy a lot of these things that I think I'm right on. I'm going to be wrong on a chunk of them. I'm going to be really, really right on a few of them. And I'm going to be about right on the other chunk. You're going to be wrong even when you think you're right. That happens in investing. We don't know everything about everything, right?
Yeah.
All we know is, actually, what do we know?
I would have thought that this patient, careful, methodical thought process would have transferred into your poker game, but alas.
But you know what? Why do I not do well with poker? I don't think the answer right now.
I think you get kind of antsy.
Why do I get antsy?
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know poker.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
When I don't understand something, it's the proof that I'm emotional about it because I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Even buying this USO yesterday, I'm antsy looking at it going down 30% today because I'm just like, oh, fuck, what did I do?
Right.
Because I don't understand. I've always said I don't understand commodities. All I saw was, okay. But the great news is I bought BP how long ago and made a killing. And basically I'm still up. When you combine my two oil plays together, I'm still up. Okay, I'm fine. But that's my point. I don't understand poker. I don't understand. You've taught me,
yeah,
but you haven't taught me like the exact, like MJ knows the numbers really well. Calculation. I need to learn that. If I learned that, I'd be deadly. I don't know if I want to learn that though. I do poker for the camaraderie. I love to watch you sit there and take your glasses off and go, call.
And last topic, are you watching The Last Dance on the Chicago Bulls?
I am watching it. What do you think?
We cut about $80 of monthly fees from YouTube Premium, YouTube TV, some other things. So I have not yet watched it, but I'm hearing good things.
Maybe when it comes on next, you should come over and we'll watch it or something like that.
Maybe in the big theater.
The theater. No, it was good. I like seeing. So I'm going to make my case for why I still think LeBron's the greatest of all time.
Go on.
My case is that LeBron went to teams and made everybody better. And Jordan talks about, we used to always say, well, Jordan only had Pippen. And Jordan did say in the interview, if I don't have Pippen, they're not realizing I don't have those 6 championships.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And by the way, I do think Jordan's phenomenal. I just think LeBron is it's very, very close. I think you have to give LeBron the edge for other factors. But Jordan is, I think, it's arguably they're arguably the best ever combined. But I think if you give the edge to one, I think you give it to LeBron. But 20 years from now, your kids will be saying about somebody else, and we'll be defending LeBron. And you know what I mean? It's like it's all these generations that happen. But it was good. It's just fun to see them talk. And you know, Jordan was, I mean, he was intense, Seth. He still to this day hates Jerry Krause, the GM. To this day, hates the man.
You know, I've been seeing memes like Jordan won 6 championships in a decade and LeBron lost 6 finals matchups in a decade. I I've been on the LeBron train, obviously as a homer for a while. But I also think, besides winning, Robert Ory has more championships than Jordan. But I mean, just numbers alone, if you factor in the rebounds and assists, LeBron's not only the best, small forward, he's one of the best point guards ever around. I mean, the numbers are absurd.
And people get pissed at me when I say that. When they're like, 6 championships, they go, oh, so Robert Ory is the best ever then.
Yes, right.
And Bill Russell has 10. How many does he have?
Oh, Bill Russell, yeah. I'm sure, yeah. But the Celtics, sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at going like, guys, we can all agree it's not just championships. I would argue that 8 finals in a row with 4 best of 7 rounds each year, 2 different teams, totally different teammates. One went from the worst team in the league, not the worst team, but second, one of the worst teams in the league to the finals, which had Kyrie and Kevin Love both not gotten injured, I think we would have had our championship the first year. Do you not agree?
Yeah.
I look at it going, Jordan went to the Wizards. The Wizards talk about how they were like, yeah, we know it's Jordan, but he's kind of past, we almost have good guys here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Bulls won 57 games in Jordan's last year. They won 55 the year after he left. It's like they were still pretty effing good. We're able to recruit well and sign good free agents. We are not able to. Cleveland's looked at it as a, boring city. Why should I go there?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I think when the numbers are all said and done, it's going to be interesting to analyze,
We should have a whole podcast about this.
Well, listen, I go, you and I grew up watching Jordan. He was the scariest. He was the best. But then I look back, one of our friends, Darnell, said, boy, I really like watching this Jordan documentary. What I'm really seeing is a guy who's really good going up against a bunch of unathletic white guys. And I'm like, gosh, if you look at just the body sculpture of some of these people that Jordan was going, I'd love to see the starting 5 of the 95 Suns besides KJ and Barkley. Is that who the Bulls played? Either way, I got my dates, my names wrong. But I mean,
it's all about the same thing.
You look at the talent nowadays versus back then. Yeah, I don't know.
The argument back is, well, what about the super teams that LeBron put together? Yeah, but LeBron has to play super teams too. The Golden State Warriors didn't put themselves together. It was a great GM work. Great drafting.
Yeah.
But 73 wins. 73 wins. And LeBron beat them being down 3-1 in the finals.
Yeah.
Listen, if anybody says it's easy to recruit in Cleveland, you're out of your mind. I mean, literally.
Oh, dude. Yeah, you look at some of the teams. I mean, yeah, Paul, we're going to have a whole podcast about this because I saw some of the first times we went to the finals and who was on that team for the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was absolutely
Sasha Pavlovich.
You would never know any of these names. Yeah, none of these names. No, I mean, a normal person will never remember any of these names. I mean, even our bench is just like, who in God's name was that? And how did we go so
Danielle Marshall.
Danielle Marshall. Good Lord. So,
we gotta find a reasonable MJ supporter who's going to actually listen to this. Just look at it. Listen, I understand 6-0 in the finals is an incredible feat, and I'm not going to ever deny that. But the other thing about LeBron's never lost the first round of the playoffs. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it took Jordan a few years before he won his first round of the playoffs. LeBron's never lost a first round of the playoffs. So their rounds are 7 games now. They weren't that back then.
Yeah, the first one was 5, right? Do you think they'll even finish the NBA season this year?
Yeah. I really hope they do. You know why?
LeBron can get one?
I want LeBron to get his title in LA.
They're looking good. And he's healthy and rested. I mean, everyone else is too, but he's more dangerous when he's healthy and rested, right?
Listen, I want him to get that title in LA. I want him to get a couple of titles in LA because I want him to go out and just be like, listen, guys, really, we're talking about this right now. Even if I'm, what is he now? 3-8, 9, 3-6. I'd love if he went 6-6. 12 finals
in this day and age.
In this day and age, Seth,
people flip-flopping teams every year.
It's just wow. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's fun to have these discussions because I just look at it when people say the best argument people have for Jordan is 6-0, 6 final, 6 champion. That's the only. And we go sit there and go, listen, I can refute that in half a second. Because I'm not sitting there saying there's no one stat I give about LeBron except for 8 finals in a row on 2 teams. But even then, I sit there and say, let's make everything equal between Jordan and Jordan. To me, 8 finals in a row with 2 teams is still more impressive than – is it more impressive than 6-0?
I don't know, Paul. I don't know. 8 and 6. I mean –
he went 3 and 5 versus 6-0. It's still – going to 8 finals in a row, winning 3 of them, it's hard.
Plus you got MJ taking those 2 years off to play baseball, letting the Rockets win a couple championships. I mean – in his prime, I mean, pretty much his prime, right? That was kind of.
But he even said, if you didn't leave for baseball, you'd have won more titles. He goes, no way.
Really?
Yeah, he said that in the documentary. He goes, no. By the way, if anybody knows what watch he was wearing, in that one, Jordan was wearing this black watch with blue, it looked like blue stitching. It was beautiful. I've been trying to search to see what it is. It's probably like $100,000 watch, that little prick. But if it's not, for some reason, Jordan decided to be normal for a while, whatever that means. It was a beautiful watch.
Thanks for your insight, Paul.
Thanks for insight from me.
Inciting riot. Subscribe down below if you're watching on YouTube. Follow us on all the podcast outlets. We have constant guests, business owners, entrepreneurs, investors, and
we're going to start doing it once the quarantine's over. We're going to do a lot more whiteboard stuff.
A lot more
looking at stocks individually, real estate, etc.
That was one of our more popular podcasts too, Paul. People loved that.
People loved it. We're going to start talking about individual stocks. I'm going to start looking through S&P 500 companies, showing you what I look at when I look at Microsoft, Google, Facebook, all these things. I'm not telling everybody how to invest. I'm just saying this is how I look at things. And it's not going to be the full detailed look, but it's going to be if 10,000 foot level is what most people do, I'm going to go down to the 500-foot level, 250 level, what you should do. And 10,000 feet is like, oh, I like that company. I should buy it.
That's me.
Well, that's everyone else.
Yes. All right. Subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Learn from us. Thanks, guys.